And we are live. Welcome to The Process. It is Wednesday, April 14th, and we only have an 11-game slate to break down today. They moved the Minnesota game up earlier and out of the slate, so what was 12 is now 11, just slightly more manageable, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. We're going to be breaking it down one way or the other. We're probably going to be here for a while. Honestly, we're looking at 90 minutes pretty easily, I think. Or maybe it's easy. Maybe there's not a lot of news. Maybe we zip through these rotations and it's not that big of a deal, but we shall find out. So good morning to everybody. I look at chat. Chat is packed with people and coffee cup emojis. I love it. I love seeing everybody here in the morning. It's always fun for me. Should be a good day today. Ready to break it all down. So I appreciate you guys being here. Shouts to Awesemo.com and Odd Shopper. Shout out to Monkey Knife Fight, the presenting sponsor. You'll see that little banner in a second. Use the promo code Awesemo. Rise and grind, everybody. We'll point it up there. Starting to get some more stuff for the walls, too. We'll talk about that. Well, we won't talk about that. You'll just see it eventually. What else we got? Last night was yuck. Hope you had Lou Dort. Obviously, Lou Dort was going to be the leading scorer on the slate as a 2% owned play. On FanDuel, at least. I don't know what his price was on Draftkings. But he was $6K on FanDuel. To me, unplayable. And yeah, actually, the answer is totally necessary. Took every shot. It was really not ideal. Yeah, I certainly did not have Lou Dort. That did not go well. Shout out to Paul George, though. Still played really, really well. But yeah, it was Lou Dort season. And after the amount that I had Lou Dort earlier this year, it makes me sad for today. Yeah, Gobert with 7 blocks and a steal. So you got to love, at least from a FanDuel perspective, 24 points from stocks. Those are always helpful. Look, it was a really weird slate yesterday with the way that news broke and some of the value that was going on, whether that was Charlotte or Oklahoma City even. I got tagged by a couple of people. I felt bad on this one. Not that anything that I can do. Tony Bradley really messed up a really big line. And like the moment Isaiah Roby got ruled in, Tony Bradley stopped being a thing. I wish that I could have just like briefly for a moment been able to like speak directly to that person and said, hey, please don't play Tony Bradley. He's no longer a play. Oh, well, what are you going to do? So we know where we need to be. We know how we need to get started here because this one's going to take a bit. So I've got my coffee. Cheers to everybody. Good morning. Let's go for a big one today. I'm on everything. I'm on all the way to live before lock. So we'll get this one done. But we're starting it off right now. 6:30 a.m. Cheers to everybody today. Good luck. Let's have a good Wednesday. That's good. That's good. All right, here we go. Bang. Transition in. All righty. Well, here we go. First team up, Brooklyn Nets at Philly. And let's get the depth chart up here. All right, so for Brooklyn, no Harden. Kyrie questionable with a family matter. What? All right. I'm going to assume that Kyrie is not playing today. I think that seems... Well, actually, no. If he's questionable, I have to assume that he's in. Durant doubtful on the back-to-back, but I also don't think it would be crazy if he played, since they played earlier in the day. Okay, so let's just be clear here. Harden, we know, is out. We don't know what the status of Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, LaMarcus Aldridge, Blake Griffin, or Chris Chiozza is right now. It's really exciting to start with a team that I could just throw darts at for today, and to know that nothing that I assume here is going to help me out. It's just insane. Let's think about this. There's not... It would really surprise me if Kevin Durant played today. And at that point, it would really surprise me if Kyrie Irving would play. Doesn't strike me as the type of guy that when Steve Nash doesn't know if he's going to play, that he's going to play. Right? Like, that seems weird. Isn't sure if Kyrie... Like, if... Or is this just Nash, like, just he doesn't care to tell the industry anything, which is, I think, reasonable. And unfortunately for us, not that it really matters, but Basketball Reference didn't update they don't have their stat update from yesterday yet, which means that I don't have the minutes from yesterday yet. So everything that I have in here is going to be from their previous game, and not from anything from yesterday with Chiozza. So let's assume for right now that Kevin Durant is not going to play, that Kyrie Irving is not going to play, and that... Oh God, then Chris Chiozza doesn't play. They legitimately don't have a point guard if that's the case. That's going to throw things way out of whack. I think that's the most realistic scenario, though. Larry, what's going on, man? Yeah, all right, what do you guys think? I need a second set of eyes on this one. They're not going to play Kevin Durant on a back-to-back. That seems, especially on a road back-to-back, that just seems implausible here. Like, they're in Philly tonight. They weren't in Philly yesterday, obviously. I can't imagine that Kevin Durant plays. Has Blake Griffin played any back-to-backs? No. Okay. So then I don't think Blake is going to play either. I don't think that anybody is going to play outside of... I think it's reasonable to think that LaMarcus Aldridge could play. It doesn't seem like Chris Chiozza plays. The Guru, why do you think Durant plays? You think they're going to play Durant on a back-to-back? I think it's close to impossible. I just can't see it. Why would they do it? They have nothing to gain. If Kevin Durant isn't healthy, they have no opportunity to win the NBA title. It's that simple. They cannot win an NBA title if Kevin Durant isn't able to play in the playoffs. Well, yeah, I'm sure he wants to play every day. I don't think any of the stars have been the guys that want to sit for most of this stuff. Actually, that's not true. Everybody probably wants to sit. We've taken the value out of the regular season. The real question is, can Chris Chiozza play? Because if Chris Chiozza can't play, then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 9 legitimate active bodies, plus whatever we would consider the status on Aldridge and Chiozza. Okay. Well, Guru, I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with you. There's a 0% chance that Kevin Durant plays today. Now, we'll go 1% so that I could walk it back tomorrow. I don't think that there's a chance that Kevin Durant... There's a decent chance that Kevin Durant never plays a back-to-back again. All right. That's what we're doing. We're saying no Kyrie. Obviously, I mean, Kyrie is like a legitimate questionable. He's like a different symbol. Yeah, Keith, I would love for them to play the NBA like the Premier League, but I mean, they would lose $1 billion by doing that. But I do think that there's a scenario where I don't know. I hate the play-in tournament. There's that. I think that's one of the dumbest things we've ever done. Look, here's the grand scheme of things for the news on Brooklyn right now. It doesn't matter. It's 6:40 a.m. Like, I don't care who plays. I promise we'll get the news. Like, it's not like the 7 o'clock game is going to sneak up on us with Kevin Durant status. We'll know if he's warming up. So I'm going to assume that Chris Chiozza doesn't play. If he left yesterday and couldn't return, that seems bad to me. So let's mark this off of guys that can play. I don't like the way that this is starting already. This is bad mojo. Okay, so we're going to put TLC would be 1. Nick Claxton would be 2. Landry Shamet would be 3. LaMarcus Aldridge status is legitimately up in the air. Wait. Okay, that doesn't matter. All right. LaMarcus Aldridge is 4, I guess. I don't think Kyrie plays. I don't think Durant plays. Joe Harris would be 5. Jeff Green would be 6. DeAndre Jordan, in theory, is 7. I don't think Chris Chiozza plays. Bruce Brown would be 8. Alize Johnson would be 9. I think that's where we're going to have to be. I think those 9 guys are the guys that we can expect to play today. Which is not a great basketball team. What's the line on this game? Philly 6.5. Maybe Kyrie plays. Maybe that's what we do here. I think we have Kyrie play. So let's start filling this out then. Because if I think Kyrie's going to have to play. Otherwise, this line is going to be like 14. So let's put Kyrie Irving in. There we go. They still haven't dusted off DeAndre Jordan. So let's assume that he does not play. We get Nick Claxton and Aldridge. So let's assume that Aldridge plays 26. Nick Claxton plays 22. We're going to consider Bruce Brown the backup point guard. And then he's going to need probably another 14 minutes. Joe Harris just gets 34 in the middle of all of this. Landry Shamet, I'm just going to throw 22 there as a placeholder. We're going to give TLC 26 potentially as a placeholder. We'll see where that ends up. Jeff Green is going to need to play his normal 30 with all these dudes out. So that gets me most of the way there. That leaves me 18 minutes and I have 8 guys projected. Most of that makes sense to me on the surface. Shamet can play more than that. TLC could look a little bit more like that. We could do something like this. I'm going to walk through everything that I'm thinking right now once I finish this off. Alize Johnson's a 4, right? Or at least close enough. I think this works. So let's say this. We're going to say that Kyrie Irving plays today. Kevin Durant does not. LaMarcus Aldridge is in. That's the least important piece of this news. They have enough bigs now that even if Aldridge doesn't play, they go to Claxton. They go to more minutes for Alize Johnson or Reggie Perry. Or more to Jeff Green too. So that should be fine. So we get Kyrie Irving at the point. Bruce Brown backing him up at the point, plus playing additional run. Landry Shamet playing his normal sort of rotation. TLC playing his normal rotation. Joe Harris playing 34 minutes. Jeff Green playing 30 minutes. Alize Johnson getting 16. They could probably split those minutes with Reggie Perry and it wouldn't be a huge issue, but I don't think that's going to matter right now. I think all of that works as well as it could for right now. I think that's the best that we can hope for. And if that's the case, for Brooklyn, I mean, we can go all over the place, but we do need to talk about Nick Claxton. He is 3,700 on FanDuel, 3,100 on DK. If LaMarcus Aldridge happens to be ruled out, and I don't think that would be a crazy scenario. Did not play yesterday. Claxton started, got 3 rotations, but the Nets smacked the Timberwolves, so Claxton got 20 minutes. I think that Nick Claxton will be one of the most popular plays on the slate. He's just entirely too cheap, and there's a decent chance he plays 26 minutes. Everything else here, they did dust off DeAndre Jordan yesterday. That is an important piece of information. But he was the straight backup. So we would do the exact same thing in the reverse. And that is with Blake. All right, I'm happy with that Brooklyn run. Kyrie looks okay at 9,900 and 9,800. Would take a lot, but I got him at a rate that I don't mind. After that, TLC for 3,200 on DraftKings. We'll want to keep an eye on him. That could be a pretty interesting value option, even for somebody that isn't very good at DFS. Guys, by the way, I forgot to say this before. Thank you to the 75 people that are here right now. 41 likes. I love the ratio. If you haven't hit the like button yet and you are here listening, please don't be afraid to hit that like button. It would help me out tremendously. Tremendously. All right, we're moving it on from Brooklyn, which was honestly taxing mentally because it's 6:48 and that's the first team down, which means we have 21 more to go. I'm going to need more of this stuff. So let's think about it a little bit more. Let's make that a little bit bigger too. Right there. Perfect. All right. So for the Bulls, any interesting information coming on here? I doubt it. Just probable on Garrett Temple, which will be interesting to see him back. Bluegrass Jeff, nice work, man. Shaquem, good to see you. Been snapping, what up? Seeing everybody starting to trickle in. All right, so Garrett Temple being back is interesting. We want to give him some minutes. We're going to have to give him a little bit more than we think we do. I'm guessing that if Garrett Temple is back, that Troy Brown would be the guy that starts to see less minutes. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 10-man rotation. They had been at 10. Somebody's going to need less minutes for Garrett Temple to get more minutes. We will start with Satoransky. Band culture. Do I create a group of value plays per slate? No, I don't. 22 and 2. Levine at 35 minutes still feels good. Troy Brown losing some minutes would make sense. Even though he did play 25 minutes the last time out. Vooch's minutes seem fine. I think Daniel Tice's minutes seem fine. I think Markkanen's minutes seem, honestly, maybe high. Thad Young's minutes seem fine. So can we just do 6 and 5? That's 11 minutes for Temple. I still don't think that that's going to be particularly correct. I don't know what this Bulls team is doing. I don't think it'll matter all that much. I don't have Brown or Temple projected for anything of value. So rates can stay the same. Bulls hosting the Orlando Magic. And my first guess is that nothing looks good here. 9K Zach LaVine now on FanDuel. He's been priced out of the spot you would really want him to be. 8,800 on Draftkings is a little bit better. I don't think that we would say that anybody from Chicago would be a priority today. I just don't see it. Revenge narrative people are going to be screaming about for Nikola Vucevic. 9,100 on FanDuel does look pretty good, but I can't imagine he ends up looking like the best value center. He's the best value center on the Bulls. Daniel Tice will be an interesting option, 4K and 3,600 if he keeps seeing extended minutes. I wouldn't want to go too crazy there, but there's just not a lot of value in the Bulls. Let's see if we can get this running total going too. All and Brooklyn and Chicago. Yikes. Go that way. All right, how about 95%? Is that better? Close enough. Yeah, so Claxton is at the top on both sites so far, and I don't think that will go away as a value option because at the very least, he's the backup center, and in an upside scenario, he's the starting center. All right, so we're going back to the Hornets. Hornets, we know, had all sorts of weird stuff going on yesterday. We didn't get Terry Rozier. We didn't get PJ Washington. Obviously, we still have Hayward, Ball, and Monk out. So what do we know about Terry Rozier? Left knee. He was doubtful. I would be very surprised if Terry Rozier played today. PJ Washington, sprained right ankle. I think PJ Washington does play today. But at the same time, I am not going to take two guys that were out yesterday for actual injuries and put them in today until they need to be in a lineup. So in that case, we need to project Charlotte, as far as I'm concerned, the exact same way that we had them yesterday. And since I don't have their minutes, I'm going to need to look at that on Popcorn Machine. Charlotte. There we go. So yeah, Biyombo ended up being the one that got the start. Let's flip that. And then Wanamaker finished with minimal minutes. It ended up being Caleb Martin that got the additional Wanamaker run. So we want to get him up to 29 minutes. Nate Darling wasn't a part of the rotation. Yeah, Dort did go ham sandwich. McDaniels at 34 feels fine, even though he played 39 yesterday. But, oh man, what a game. What a weird game. I'm guessing they just ran out of gas. Cody Martin played 20 minutes. So do I need to give Miles Bridges 2 more minutes? Jaden McDaniels 2 more minutes. No, I don't got to give Bridges at 36. How many minutes did Devontae Graham play? 31. I think I'm pretty comfortable with everything that I have here. Actually, no, I need to take some of those minutes away from Brad Wanamaker still. Let's do something like that. All right, Charlotte Hornets at home against Cleveland. And we're going to be doing this again. We don't really have much of a choice. So if Terry Rozier and PJ Washington are out once again, and I think that it's significantly more likely that it's both, I think it would be very surprising if Rozier were in. However, Caleb Martin is 3,500 on FanDuel, 3,100 on DraftKings. He is now the top of the heap value play. But you got to go to Biyombo at the flat minimum on FanDuel, 3,200 on DK. You got to go to Jalen McDaniels. You got to go to Miles Bridges. You got to go to Devontae Graham. This is going to be a big spot in DFS today, barring the news of Rozier and Washington. Now, if Washington goes in, basically that's only going to remove like Biyombo as a legitimate play. But for now, look at all those Charlotte guys. Oh, guys, give me 1 second. I think I need to let my dog into my bedroom. I did. I'm back. Yeah. Heard the dog doing a little cry outside of my bedroom. I guess my wife was awake. He wanted in. Play all the Charlotte Hornets today, everybody. No choice in the matter today. On to Cleveland, their opponent in this game. So let's see what we've got going on with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Hopefully not a ton of news. No, nothing crazy. Just a Q tag on their two starting guards. Q tag on Garland, Q tag on Sexton. Jared Allen back. Larry Nance back. So this entire rotation can just go away. What do we know about Garland and Sexton? So Garland, sprained right ankle, hurt it on Saturday, didn't play Sunday. Gonna assume he plays. Colin Sexton, strained left groin, didn't play Sunday. Also going to assume he plays. That's easy. 34 minutes for Garland, 34 minutes for Sexton. Jerry, you could have seen the dog. He is now in my master, and I am not at all going to get up and bring him in here, nor would he want to. He's back in bed now. Okay, so that's all easy. Jared Allen had a concussion, so I mean, granted, he's been out for a while, but like it's not a lower body injury, so I'm going to give him 28 minutes. We're going to say both he and Love and Nance should all play a bunch. Nance is actually working his way back. Nance was bad. From what I saw, I think Nance lost like 20 pounds. Did I see that correctly? He had some sort of weird illness, lost a bunch of weight. So I think that they're going to take it pretty easy with Nance coming back. What have we seen out of Kevin Love as of late? He got up to 30 minutes. I assume that he's going to continue to play, 28 minutes a game. So let's do something like 20 minutes here, another 8 here. I'm only going to give Larry Nance some small rotations. I don't think they're going to throw him back in aggressively. Interesting, Lex. I appreciate that. So we also need to start giving minutes to Isaac Okoro. I think 30 seems about right there. Torian Prince being the backup 4 seems reasonable. We still need to give minutes to Dean Wade. Let's give Delly the backup point guard run. So we still need Dean Wade. Does Isaiah Hartenstein play with all of these bigs back? That seems impossible to me. Truly impossible to me. So they're not. They have no need. Actually, I mean, he could play 20 minutes, I guess. If we're considering Dean Wade to be a 3, find out what Cleaning the Glass classifies Dean Wade as. Pretty much a power forward. I have a hard time. They're not going to play Larry Nance at the 3. That just can't be happening. So filling this at plus Taurean Prince. So Taurean Prince is going to have to be those 18 minutes. I think that Dean Wade getting 20 minutes here is the answer. I don't think that Isaiah Hartenstein is going to play. There's just too many big dudes. But at the same time, like, played 20 minutes a game recently. Only guy left that can get 14 minutes. I need, like, shooting guard minutes. I guess technically that can be a Okoro. And then I need minutes at the 3 from somebody. Which I can't say is Dean Wade. So who gets those final minutes? Is it Lamar Stevens? Guess it could be. What the hell position does he officially play? Gotta be the 3. Good enough for me. Lamar Stevens, come on down. Definitely not Osman. That one I'm comfortable saying. All right, 28-8, 24. There we go. It's not going to matter. We just put a pretty healthy amount of time into Cleveland, but if the minutes are correct, no one's playable. Not on an 11-game slate. With Love, Garland, Sexton, Allen, Okoro all in, nobody here is any good. There we go. We're on to the Dallas Mavericks. Andres, good to see you. Glad you're feeling better. My DFS lineups didn't follow either. Dallas Mavs, Porzingis in. Everybody is in like normal, which means this one will actually be pretty easy. 110 viewers, 67 likes. Ratio's starting to slip, everybody. If you have been here, or if you are here right now and you did not hit that like button yet, please go ahead and do so. It helps me out a ton. All right, let's just project out the Mavs the way that we know how. First and foremost, Kristaps Porzingis in at center. Backup center run likely going to one of Dwight Powell or Willie Cauley-Stein. I'll pick Dwight Powell for today. Seems fine. Maxey will play 32 minutes at the 4. As will 16 minutes of Dorian Finney-Smith, 18 minutes of Dorian Finney-Smith. Good and good. Then Jalen Brunson has been playing pretty big minutes as of late. Even, but sort of only when someone is out. So I'm going to give him 24 minutes here at the 1. Doesn't appear... We got to work JJ back in, too. Jerry, I don't think that I can ever see it. Let's see. All right, so I guess technically we're going to go to Luka here. 24 and 12. We're going to need to give Tim Hardaway Jr. his sort of normal 22 minutes. We're going to need to give Jay Rich his normal 32 minutes. That's a dog at the door. And then we'll give Redick 12 minutes. That should pretty much cover me here. Rates should all largely be the same. Bump Brunson down. Bump Jay Rich down. Luke is good. Good. And Good. Not going to be too much we're liking here for Dallas. Again, Dallas on the road taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Luka clearly going to be at the top of the heap here. And honestly, given the way that I have Luka Doncic projected, 10,300 on FanDuel, he is going to be a highly, highly recommended play. Probably my preferred pay-up option for right now, if I had to guess. That ain't bad. Yeah, because there's going to be plenty of value to go around. I like that Luka Doncic price tag on FanDuel. I would say that now Luka Doncic is my favorite play of the day, at least on FanDuel. On DK, I think $4,700 Jalen McDaniels is just going to be a little bit ahead of him. But I like it. I like it for Luka here. Don't think I'd be at, like, Porzingis is fine, but nothing too crazy. We'll keep it moving. Denver Nuggets. Oh, man. I wish I had a bunch of time to talk about this. Really, really crummy news for Jamal Murray. Going to be out for a calendar year, basically. You know, obviously not like legitimately out for the calendar year, but not going to be the same for a calendar year. Completely torpedoes the chances of the Denver Nuggets to win the NBA title. Not that they were high before, but that just sucks. It sucks a lot. So we need to move on, man. No, I don't think they still make a decent run. Jamal Murray is very much a playoffs type player, isolation scorer, shot creation guy. I think this hurts them a lot worse once they get to the playoffs than it does for the rest of it. They can patch it, like, so dropping from Jamal Murray to more minutes to Monty Morris and Facundo Campazzo in the regular season isn't going to hurt them all that much for the rest of the season, but it's a huge problem in the playoffs. The two-man game of Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic is largely unguardable in the playoffs, and that is when the style of play changes. That's really important. It's just a shame. It's a really bad. It's just crummy. There's no other way to say it. So maybe we'll see more Michael Porter Jr. Who knows? Let's project this team out now. I think that we have to assume that Facundo Campazzo is the guy that benefits the most here. He averaged 26 and a half minutes in that 4-game stretch that Murray was out. So I'm going to give him 27 minutes here. I'm going to give the backup run to Monty Morris, obviously, but I do think that Monty Morris is going to play at least a little bit more, although I don't know how much these guys can actually play alongside each other. So we'll then look at Will Barton, who's going to be playing, 34 minutes a game pretty easily. We're going to have Aaron Gordon playing, 31 minutes a game, I guess. Backup to Aaron Gordon will likely be JaMychal Green. So we'll give him 15. Michael Porter Jr. is going to be relied on pretty heavily moving forward. So that leaves me PJ Dozier, and that's basically it. Yeah. PJ Dozier played limited minutes the last game, but that is not going to matter at all now. And then 3 spillover minutes can go to literally anybody. I'm giving them to Zeke Naji. All right, I'm going to delete all these rates. So we need to pull the rates without Jamal Murray, since that is going to be the new norm. Denver taking on Miami, which is generally a terrible fantasy matchup, so I don't think we're going to have to react too difficultly to this one. No Harris, no Murray. I don't think I need to take anybody else. Yeah, that'll be fine. You know what? Let's take Hartenstein off too. You know what? That won't actually matter. Okay, so Aaron Gordon's usage rate with no Jamal Murray has been non-existent in 130 minutes. I'm not going to project it like that, but I will project it quite lower. Michael Porter Jr. in the non-Jamal Murray, Gary Harris minutes, 23.5% usage rate. I think that's pretty reasonable. Nikola Jokic, 36% usage rate with no Jamal Murray, which is just truly bonkers. I can't go all the way to 36, but I think 34 is pretty reasonable. Will Barton probably sees a bit of a bump. Yeah, that gets him to 20. Monty Morris, 18. Campazzo, not much of a usage guy. There we go. I think most of that looks good. So if we look at Denver against Miami, Nikola Jokic clearly popping pretty well. 10-9 on FanDuel, 10-6 on DraftKings. I think Michael Porter Jr. for 7,400 and 7,200 is very much in play. After that, we're not really going to be looking at too much from this Denver team. Just taking a quick look and adding them. I'm going to add teams like 2x2 so I don't spend too much time looking at the same stuff. Jokic just behind Luka on FanDuel. Jokic just ahead of Luka on DraftKings. I have them projected for the literal same amount of points on DK. Jokic 3 points cheaper. On FanDuel, I have Jokic about 1.5 points ahead of him, but he is $600 more expensive. Will Gordon handle more ball responsibilities? I doubt it. That's not really something that they need. On to the Pistons. So for the Pistons, what do we got going on here? No DSJ. Cool. Jeremy Grant is in. So we're going to gut that. Everybody but Dennis Smith Jr. is available. That's fine. Okay. Easy enough. So center. Luckily for the Pistons, center is sort of the easiest spot to handle. We give Mason Plumlee 26 minutes. We give Isaiah Stewart 22 minutes. And then we just... Actually, we'll go... Yeah. And then we just walk away. Point guard. Corey Joseph played 30 minutes a game for the past 2 games. That is interesting. Way to work the young guys in there. Killian Hayes did not play their last game on the back-to-back, played 16 minutes previous to that. So I am going to say that Corey Joseph plays 30 minutes and that Killian Hayes plays the backup point guard run. Right. Who else needs minutes now? Without question. All right. Obviously, Jeremy Grant is going to need his 30 minutes. It appears that Josh Jackson is playing pretty regularly. I'm going to give him 26. And then Sadiq Bey is just going to play 30 minutes. That's just what Sadiq Bey does. So everybody else can get filled in from there. Whether that's, we'll give Frank Jackson 16. We'll give Wayne Ellington 14. We'll give Hamidou Diallo 18. I don't care how these things add up anymore. And then I'll give Saban Lee 10. I don't trust. I mean, it's not going to matter. Pistons hosting the Los Angeles Clippers. There's just not going to be enough guys on this team that matter enough from a minutes perspective. What's Jeremy Grant's usage rate on the season for the Pistons? So Aaron Gordon has been an exceptional fit with the Denver Nuggets so far. It could not be a better fit. Could not be a better fit. He made them a legitimate problem this year in the playoffs, and now that is gone due to that injury. He's a fan. It couldn't have been a better fit for Denver. Here, we're gonna do this. Gonna hand out a lesson. Aaron Gordon on the court for Denver, so we could just get that sample. They are plus 11.7 with Aaron Gordon on in 503 possessions. They have a 98th percentile offense, 123.1 points per possession. They are an above average defense at 111.3. When they had Murray, Barton, Porter, Gordon, Jokic on the floor, 218 minutes, that is their top lineup. Plus 16.8 differential over 100 possessions. That is elite level stuff. Okay, so 218 possessions. We can actually look at this. Among teams that have played at least 218 possessions, we'll let that be the cutoff. 217 can be the cutoff. Everybody that's played 217 or more. All right, we'll make it 210 since apparently I have to set the filter like that. Everybody that has played 210 possessions together as a 5-man unit. Previously, the high was Monty Morris, Murray, Barton, Porter, and Jokic. That's the highest plus minus, plus 25.7. The new lineup with Aaron Gordon has the 5th highest plus minus of any combination of players in the league this year. 5th highest, behind the Utah Jazz starters, behind the Portland guys with Powell, and with the Clippers with Beverly, Batum, George, Kawhi, and Serge Ibaka. Those are your best 5-man combos. Aaron Gordon has been nothing short of a revelation for Denver. He fit that team like a glove. Bang. It's not going to be great if you take Murray off. There's not going to be a big enough sample to look at. But I just actually, you know what? Since he was out, there might be. Look, this is not the day that we should be doing this. But let's do this here. With Murray off and Aaron Gordon on, since they did have that chunk of time, they were plus 9.1, 96%. So the offense was still humming. The defense was still fine. The problem is going to become when they get into the playoffs and it's really like nut crunching time. They don't have that. Like, Jamal Murray is made for the playoffs. That skill set that he has is made for the playoffs. And when it gets into isolation scoring, it's just going to get a little bit too hard for everybody else. Anyway, back to the Detroit Pistons. So Mason Plumlee's 5,700 on FanDuel, 5,300 on DK. He would be the guy that I'm looking at most from the Pistons, but in the grand scheme of things, we're not looking at the Pistons for DFS against the Clippers today. Golden State Warriors on the road against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Kelly Oubre doubtful. We know that we're not going to have James Wiseman for an extended amount of time. Eric Paschall not around. So this rotation is going to look just like it did the last time, which is good because that makes things a little bit easier. So 35 minutes to Curry. I'm going to go ahead and assume that he doesn't shoot the lights out again. Andres, I don't think that there are too many mouths to feed in Denver. The problem is they just lost one of their best eaters. They don't have anybody that eats as well as Jamal Murray in the playoffs. That's the real problem. Looney ended up playing 31 minutes, so we're going to have to give him a little bit of a bump. Take Draymond down to 21. Back up to 35. Yeah, like the Murray-Jokic combo offensively is like a top 5 combination in the league. They know how to work off of each other so well. It's like everything that the Clippers think they want out of Paul George and Kawhi. Just no defense. So Bazemore played 35 minutes. That's interesting. Juan Toscano-Anderson played 24. Continue to give him those minutes. Who lost the minutes? Damian Lee? Damian Lee. All right, so Wiggins 9 and what's 24. All right, so I have 10 minutes left over for Mulder or Nico Mannion, one of these two guys. We're just going to go 5 and 5 here and make it real easy. All right, for the Warriors, on the road against Oklahoma City. All of these rates should be fine. Can't imagine I'm going to like too much here. Who will benefit most from Murray's injury? Monty Morris and Facundo Campazzo will get the most minutes because of it. I don't think anybody really benefits from it, though. You got to remember, in a DFS aspect, the only benefit that comes from that injury exists in like the first game or two. Then everybody's just priced where they should be. Kevon Looney, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, probably the 3 priorities here. Kent Bazemore on DK for 4,800 looks a little bit better. But you can get to Curry. It's not a huge issue. I prefer Jokic and I prefer Luka for sure. Looney for the flat min on FanDuel, though. I think there's going to be some popularity there for a paydown build. Really makes it a lot easier to pay up elsewhere. Houston. All right, guys. 143 viewers, 87 likes. If you guys don't mind hitting that thumbs up, we can get that number north of 100. There are some of you that have been here and are listening that have not hit that thumbs up. What you waiting for? All right, Houston. At home, taking on the Indiana Pacers. This one, I can only imagine, won't be close. Looks like a pretty reasonably normal rotation here for the Houston Rockets. Everybody that's normally out is still out, or at least everybody that had been out is out. So let's hash this one out quickly. This one shouldn't take all that long. Yeah, so Tex, I've seen some people saying that. Like, it's not like Curry knows he's getting that record. You know? Like, it doesn't really matter when it happens. If we're talking about a team where, like, you know, the stands are packed and like they're about to go on a road trip, like he could talk me into it. And obviously they went on the road for this one, but Steph Curry knows he's going to break that record. By, like, not only is he going to break it, he's going to break it by like thousands of points. You can talk me into it in a different season if he can, like, make a run at it. Or if he knows that it's, like, you have a hot first half and you know that it's within reach. I think you can make a push for it. It wouldn't shock me if Steph Curry didn't even know it going into the game. Mostly because it's meaningless. Steph Curry for the past 3 years was going to become the all-time leading scorer for the Golden State Warriors. That shit was set in stone. So they don't limit John Wall at all, huh? This dude just plays 36 minutes a game. That's just how this happens. DJ Augustine really not... No, he really didn't. Kevin Porter Jr. So they're firming up the minutes here. Christian Wood 33. Yeah, no, they are running the starters into the ground here. This is good to see. Well, it's not good to see, but you know what I mean. Avery Bradley at 22. Kenyon Martin playing a little bit more minutes. So Kenyon Martin, DJ Wilson, Kelly Olynyk, Christian Wood. So 102. Okay, so Kenyon Martin is technically also playing some at the 3. Didn't think that was a viable scenario for him. We'll give DJ Augustine 3 spillover minutes. All of these rates should be fine right now. These guys have been in. So for Houston against Indiana, should be a pace up spot. There might be some. Whoa. Okay. Christian Wood, come on down on FanDuel, 7,500. That'll look pretty good. John Wall, 8,408K. I like Wall as well. Kevin Porter Jr. We're liking Houston because of this matchup. Let's get the rest of these teams added. Detroit, Golden State, Houston. Detroit, Golden State, Houston. Oh, and we're over 100 likes. Look at you guys. Awesome. We're an hour in. We're probably not even close to being finished. So let's keep going here. Christian Wood now jumps to the top of the list on FanDuel. 7,500. That's a really nice value. We see Wall show up third on DK, 8K. That is a really nice option from a value perspective. Similar chance of popping off as Jokic, but $2,600 cheaper. Relative to salary, I see Jokic and John Wall pretty similar. But Wall highly ranked. Christian Wood highly ranked. Kevin Porter Jr. pretty highly ranked. Got to play some Houston today, I think. Just looks good. That Christian Wood price is nice. All right, on to Indiana, the team that they play. So Indiana on the road in Houston. I assume it's just no Miles Turner and the same as usual. Okay, so Q tag on Turner, Q tag on McBuckets. Although I don't think that Q tag on Turner is actually real. I think that's just a back-to-back Q tag. Oh yeah, they actually said that he could play. Interesting. Why would you bring him back against Houston? I'm not projecting Miles Turner in for this game. That's insane. You're not bringing Miles Turner back to play Houston. McDermott sprained his ankle, left early. Do we assume that McDermott just doesn't play? I think that we could just do that. I'm just going to take McBucket's minutes and give them straight to Jakar Sampson and not really care too much about how it shakes out. I don't think it matters. This is going to be the same rotation they had yesterday. I think that's just easier to manage. So, monster point total for Indiana here. I'm just wondering if the prices are a bit out of reach. Domantas Sabonis 8,800 on FanDuel is without question my preferred pacer play on FanDuel. Malcolm Brogdon for 7,100 is the guy there. Karis LeVert, I would like to, I don't know, like, I didn't need what he did yesterday at all. I thought his price was terrible. Started going off. Could have been worse. Could have been Lou Dort. Jakar Sampson is the flat minimum on DraftKings, so I'm going to have to take at least some of those minutes away so that bad things don't happen. Let's fix that. There we go. That's a little bit better. Look, Sabonis and Brogdon are my two priorities. Karis LeVert is significantly more playable on DraftKings at 7,400 than he is at 8,200 on FanDuel. Keeping it moving. We are nowhere to be found towards the end of this, guys. Let's hope we get a couple easy ones. So, next up on the list, the Los Angeles Clippers. No Patrick Beverley, no Serge Ibaka. We don't know the status of one Kawhi Leonard. Why he would come back against the Pistons on the road, I don't know. I can't imagine that he's going to play, but Maybe he does. Why would he play? Seriously, why would... I mean, I guess he did just miss 2 straight. So I'm going to assume that Kawhi does play here. I think he's probably in. So let's scrap this. We'll give Reggie Jackson his 28 minutes. We'll give Ivica Zubac his 28 minutes. We'll give... Jordan, good to see you. Alrighty. Pat only played 5 minutes last night. Oh, Zubac played 30-something minutes. Fair enough. All right, so I'm going to give Pat 14. Marcus Morris 22. Nick Batum was just blocking shots like crazy yesterday when I was watching the game. So we'll give him 26. That'll give us Kawhi for 34. Paul George for 34. And then the rest of this should fill itself in. Rondo playing 20. Terrence Mann. And Luke Kennard. So, Tex, I think that is very reasonable stance to take, that Kawhi plays and Paul George sits. They talk about that a lot, staggering the rest between the two of them. So, ooh, Theodore, Tony Bradley, man. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. The moment Isaiah Roby got ruled in, Tony Bradley stopped being a thing. All right, let's see what we got here for this Clippers team, which I assume is nothing. Yeah, these guys are overpriced. Zubac for 5,100 on FanDuel, but I'm not going to be looking at the Clippers today in any real form. Paul George at 9K, Kawhi at 97 on DK. You're not playing the Clippers today against the Pistons. It's going to be hard for them to show value. On to Memphis. What do we got going for the Grizzlies? Memphis Grizzlies. No Jackson, no Winslow, no Melton. So this is just going to be par for the course. Contending for what, Casey? A playoff spot? Okay, so this Memphis rotation should be pretty close to correct. Joval played 30 minutes in 3 straight. Probably not the best spot for him to be playing that kind of minutes today. So I'm going to leave those minutes alone. Getting back up in minutes, which is interesting to see. We saw Grayson Allen get back up into the 30s again. Dylan Brooks, clearly in the 30s. John Conchar can lose a minute, I think. Actually like the way that looks. That's not bad. That's not bad. That'll work. Oh, wait, no. Desmond Bane's minutes are down. Who got those minutes instead of Bane? I guess it's Grayson Allen. We'll do something like that. Should it matter? What do we got here for Memphis? Probably not much. Yeah, John Morant, 7K on FanDuel, 7,100 on DraftKings. He's going to be the guy that I prefer. And look, we had this lull where Morant was playing like 28, 29 minutes. If he's playing 34 or 35 minutes, that's a spot you need to be. That is a spot you need to be. Memphis's pace. I have Memphis 6th overall in pace. So, nothing too crazy. Like, it's not like up. Not too much to worry about here from Memphis. All right, keeping it moving. Okay, we're finally close to me scrolling down and not having to like worry about it. So on to Miami. I'm guessing we don't see Jimmy Butler today, but we shall see. I know rolled his ankle. Butler is said that he'll be ready to go on Wednesday's contest. Okay, fair enough. Well, then I'm just going to assume that this Miami Heat roster is the Miami Heat roster. If I were drafting today, who would I take, Ja Morant or RJ Barrett? It would not be close. It's Ja Morant by many multiples. Okay, so did I miss out on anything? All right, Kendrick Nunn. I don't have this rotation. Shite. Is Basketball Reference have their stats up yet for the 13th? Because I could really use them. They do not. So, popcorn machine bound. Miami got whooped by Phoenix. Kendrick Nunn was in a little bit of foul trouble, but he was probably going to play a bunch. Missed out on another 3.5 minutes there. Missed out on probably like 4 more minutes there. So I'm kind of happy with that projection that I have in. I don't think we need to make any changes. Which means for Miami, again, Miami on the road against the Denver Nuggets. Butler 9,300 and 9,400 is the best option from Miami, but there's not a lot here. Let's add in everybody else that we've looked at. So that would be Indiana, the Clippers, Memphis, and Miami. Indiana, the Clippers, Memphis, Miami. So no major changes at the top. Everybody that we've looked at in these last couple games isn't really popping into the top section. Still got Christian Wood at the top on FanDuel, Jalen McDaniels on DraftKings. New Orleans Pelicans at home against the Knicks. Now we know that it's not a great matchup against the Knicks because of the pace of play. Lonzo is doubtful. James Johnson questionable, and we know that we don't have Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So, got to leave James Johnson in right now because we don't really have much of a choice. So most of this should be fine because I didn't have LaMelo in the last time anyway. We saw Wes Iwundu get that start 2 days ago. Is that going to be a thing that happens again? It seems like it probably would be. Najee Marshall still played 20 minutes. Jackson Hayes got his 20. Willie Hernan-Gomez now finally not getting that run. Zion is just incredible. I don't really see much that I can change here. Let's bring James Johnson down 2 more minutes. Give 2 more minutes to Wes Iwundu, but that's probably it. There's not much here for me. So Pelicans against the Knicks. Yeah, I didn't think so. Zion is 10-1 on FanDuel. Looks fine. Like certainly a guy you'll have, but not a priority. 9,900 on DK. Fine. Again, not a priority. You know, he'd just be in this like 15 to 20th best guy range. Not the guy that you're just immediately looking to. So we move on to their opponent, the New York Knicks. So for the New York Knicks, we have nothing to worry about. This is just going to be their normal rotations. I don't expect to have to make any changes here. Did anybody play a ton of minutes recently that we didn't expect? No, not really. So I am going to switch Nerlens Noel to 28 and 20 with Taj. Alec Burks, you could conceivably cut a little bit. Derrick Rose, you could conceivably cut a little bit, but I don't really know where those minutes would go. So I'm going to take one here. Give it to Reggie Bullock, and that's it. Rates will all be the same. So Knicks against the Pels. For the Knicks, not too much here. No surprises. Randall at the top of the heap. Nerlens Noel would be second. 5K on FanDuel. 4,300 for Nerlens Noel on DraftKings. That is a pretty interesting price from a value perspective. He's not going to be a priority, but he's going to be a part of the player pool. If we add Pelicans and Knicks to the running list right now, we get something along the lines. Yeah, like Nerlens Noel is 25th. That's not bad. It's not bad. Keep it moving. Let's save this file so I don't lose it. What else we got? OKC. Ugh. Yuck. Obviously no Shea. Poku questionable. Gabriel Deck questionable. Muscala questionable. I think Poku's just going to be out, and this is just a back-to-back thing, right? Yeah. I'm going to go with the same rotation that they had yesterday. And now that Isaiah Roby is back, I think that's a bit of a problem for everyone, if we're being honest. So, yeah, Roby played a decent run. Moses Brown got his 26 minutes. Tony Bradley, not really going to be a part of this bad boy any longer. That's just going to be like backup, legitimate backup run. So we'll do something along those lines. Justin Robinson wasn't a part of the rotation. So I still have 14 minutes to divvy out. Don't know who that's going to be. Kenrich Williams played about what I was expecting. All these guys kind of played exactly what I was expecting. I just don't really know what the answer is going to be here. Who am I missing? Oh, Josh Hall played. Okay. I'll give Horde 5. That's fine. I don't get the... Well, this is going to be a problem, guys. So, Oklahoma City's got a date. They're at home with the Golden State Warriors, and we know that Golden State plays incredibly fast. So, we need to make sure that we're getting these minutes correct, particularly for Baisley, Roby, Moses Brown, and Teo Maledon. I like Moses Brown's minutes. Having Baisley at 32, I think, is fine. He would have closed if this game was going well. Roby at 26, I feel pretty fine about. Maledon at 30, I certainly feel fine about that he's going to have to play those minutes. So I think that Oklahoma City is going to look really good here. Yeah. Moses Brown is 4,700 on FanDuel at 26 minutes. That is a really nice value play. Darius Baisley, Teo Maledon looks good on DK. They look good on FanDuel as well. Isaiah Roby is 4,500 on FanDuel. I think that we're going to have to be paying close attention to the Oklahoma City Thunder today, and we're going to see some of these guys near the top of this list. Yeah, Moses Brown comes in the 4 spot. Obviously, centers are a little bit different, but there is some value to be had in Oklahoma City today, guys. We're up to 170 viewers. Shout out to everybody that's here. Strategy show coming up 10 o'clock in the morning, myself and Laffy. Contenders videos will be out after this. We are on to Orlando, on the road against Chicago. This one should be pretty easy. We don't know the status on Chuma Okeke, questionable, but I'm projecting him in. We got to get Gary Harris back in. And we don't know the status on Mo Bamba, but I will allow him to be in for right now. Which means we give Gary Harris... What do we know about Gary Harris right now? Because he's obviously permanently hurt. Okay, that's fine. So this shouldn't be too big of a change. Cole Anthony, 26 minutes. Cool with it. Michael Carter-Williams, 22 minutes. Cool with it. Terrence Ross at 29. Fine. We'll take those 13 minutes from Robert Franks and immediately give them to Gary Harris. James Ennis's minutes look fine. Dwayne Bacon's minutes look fine. Chuma's minutes look fine now. RJ Hampton played 26 minutes. Who wasn't playing then? They're just playing everybody 20 minutes. This team stinks, man. Really does. Just putrid. Let's do something like that. Call it a day. I can't imagine we're playing anything from Orlando today. Miles. Sorry you got bit by the Drummond bug last night. I mean, Gary Harris is an incredible defensive player, but his offensive game has just disappeared. Yeah, don't sweat the Magic too much today. Yeah, Boucher was a bummer last night. Oh, we're on to Philly now. Philly, Brooklyn. This could be a really nice spot for Philly. Going to assume everything is okay for Philly today. Yep, just George Hill and nothing else. So this is going to be the normal Philly rotation. Have they done anything weird? Nope. So for Philly against Brooklyn, great spot, obviously. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons at the top. Ben Simmons down to 7,000 on FanDuel. I love it. Give me all the Ben Simmons today, baby. Give me all the Ben Simmons. I'm a fan here today. No surprises there. Can't wait to talk about it with Laffy. 8K on DraftKings isn't the worst price, but not where I would want to be. Look, he was having a decent game. He never got a chance to come back in that Dallas spot, but like, let's be clear here. I do want to point it out. He had 27.7 fantasy points in 24 minutes. That's a 1.15 rate, which, just so everybody knows, is exactly his normal rate. He is normally a 1.15 fantasy point per minute guy. If everybody just stops thinking about what's happened in the last 3 weeks, that's exactly where you would expect Simmons to be. So could have very easily put up a 1.25 day with just a half decent closing line and hung 40. Like, you can't look at the raw total there because they never came back in the game. Played 24 minutes because it was a blowout. Yeah, 7K Ben Simmons, no-brainer to me against Brooklyn. Especially with half those guys out. In this pace-up spot, too. I love it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah, I don't care if he's been in a winning lineup or not. That's not how I play DFS. If I start chasing all the things that everybody else did to win before, I will never win again. So I have Embiid basically tied with Jokic relative to salary on FanDuel, but Jokic is pretty clearly ahead of him on DK. We'll see where the ownership is. Four teams to go. Sacramento, San Antonio, Toronto, and Washington. We'll do Sacramento now. So, for the Sacramento Kings, Q-tag on Buddy Hield. He was the late scratch. It was the first game he had missed in like 240 straight or something. And then Rashawn Holmes doubtful. So, this is going to get a little interesting for the Sacramento Kings. So, and they have Damian Jones now too. So, this is going to get really fun. All right, where do I have Damian Jones hiding? On the Lakers or something? Nope. Sack. Done. All right. Refresh. And Sacramento. So, Holmes got hurt in their last one. When did he go down? All right, so Coming back to start the second half, they went to Damian Jones over Whiteside and over Metu. I'm going to assume that that is the direction that they go. So I'm going to say we get 22 minutes from Damian Jones. We get 16 minutes from Metu, and we get 10 minutes from Hassan Whiteside. After that, we're going to need to get Buddy Hield back on the floor. So those minutes all go away. Those minutes go away. Actually, let's take that and that and that away. So we're going to say backup point guard run goes to Terrence Davis. Buddy Hield back in for 33. Experts trying to understand the Pistons makes me chuckle. So does that sentence for me personally. So Harkless got the start with nobody Hield. That's not going to happen again, I would imagine. And I don't get the sense that he's just going to play a ton. Seems like that would be weird. I'm going to give him 24 minutes. We need to give 31 minutes to Tyrese Halliburton. And that leaves us an additional 20 minutes for... Who am I missing? Oh, I missed DeLon Wright's minutes. Okay, so I got to bump everybody up a spot. DeLon Wright. Yeah. Actually, I'll just give him 18 minutes there and make it easier. Do we think that's a good point, King Hope? He did get those 30 on the 10th. Was that a start on the 10th? Was. Okay. I think that's probably more likely then. So let's do something like that. Well, he started. I don't know if he is starting. And I think that's an interesting distinction to make. I also don't know if it's going to matter. All right, I think we're probably good there. All right, so for Sacramento, De'Aaron Fox is the best option, 9,600 on both sites. And if this shakes out the way that I have it, I don't really see a ton here. Halliburton for 5,500 on FanDuel, sure. Damian Jones is the flat min on DK. He would be my preferred option from the centers. But we're not going to have this info. So, realistically, and I think this is going to be a key piece here. So, Damian Jones is center eligible. Chimezie Metu is power forward center eligible. Hassan Whiteside is just center eligible on DraftKings. If I were building lineups, I would treat it, and using Fantasy Cruncher, I would want to use Hassan Whiteside in the buildup. So, for example, this game is at 10. We are not going to know who the starter is. But I think that whoever is the starter, you can conceivably say is a value option. Given the way that this looks, I think they might play all three of these guys and it won't matter. But if you use Whiteside as your placeholder, then you can switch to Metu or Damian Jones if Whiteside isn't the starter. But if you have let's say you go to Damian Jones now and they name Whiteside the starter, you might not have the $600 to get there. So it'll be easier to just treat it like Hassan Whiteside is the starter so that you don't get pinched from a salary perspective on DraftKings. Because if you're just saying to yourself, I would like to play the budget Sacramento Kings starter, we're not going to know that at lock. So use Whiteside and just take that extra $600 out of play. And if you have to rotate down, that's fine. But for right now, I don't see a Sacramento center as a guy that I want to get to like all that frequently. San Antonio Spurs. 3 teams to go here. No Jang, no Lyles, so we know that's what's going on there. This is just going to be their normal rotations. I don't really have any changes to make. San Antonio is on the road against the Toronto Raptors. And there's not much here. Jake Puddle, Keldon Johnson, 4,900. I like that price tag, even for a guy that's been dreadful lately. Something to keep in mind, at least. Yeah, see, on FanDuel, it doesn't matter. Yeah, there's no priorities coming out of San Antonio against Toronto. You could always just have like one of the guys that start, but it's not a team that we need to dig into. We head to Toronto now. Obviously, we lost out on what was an amazing play in Kyle Lowry yesterday. He is probable now today. Good to know. Super helpful, Kyle. So, let's project out this Toronto Raptors team. It should be pretty easy to do. We'll go 34 minutes here. We'll go 34 minutes to Gary Trent. We'll go 35 minutes to OG Anunoby. 36 minutes to Pascal Siakam. And how many minutes did Chris Boucher play last night? Chris Boucher played 23 minutes and was +3. 12-0 run and almost closed it. Wild. Okay. Well, I just assume that Chris Boucher is going to continue to play the increased run he's been seeing over the past 4 games. So let's call it 27 minutes for Boucher. We see Kem Birch get the backup run. And then it's backup run across the board for all of these guys. Backup run for Malachi Flynn. Backup run for Rodney Hood. Backup run for Yuta Watanabe. And finally, backup run for a person that I don't see right now. Freddie Gillespie, you win. Lowry gets the usage bump. I don't remember it off the top of my head right now. That's bothering me. Where the hell is Toronto? There we go. Take Van Vliet off. Trent. Kem Birch. Kyle Lowry, usage rate 24. 11% assist rate. OG Anunoby 18. Pascal Siakam 28. Done. All right, for Toronto. Jamie, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. That's awesome. All right, so we're going back to the potential Kyle Lowry play. If he is in, and he's probable, $7K on FanDuel, $7,600 on DraftKings. Definitely the best option from the Raptors. Pascal Siakam, $8,600 and $8,500 would be my number 2 option. Boucher, probably a bit too expensive on FanDuel, but on DraftKings at $7,100, he's in play. And you can cross your fingers and hope you get hot shooting from Gary Trent. Final game, final team, Washington Wizards taking on the Sacramento Kings. This should be fun to look at, you would think. Whole team is available here. So 37 minutes for Russ, 34 minutes for Beal. Nope, he's going to be just Bradley Beal again. Howell Neto barely playing. Why did Denny play 9 minutes? No way do I care that happened. Rolo played 14 and 15 the last 2 games. 15 it is. Len, same story. Gafford, 17 minutes. You can safely say that we're not playing any of these guys. Great. Rui, 32 minutes. Sure. Everybody else should be meaningless. Correct. Rates should be the same. Yes. Washington Wizards. $8,500 Beal on FanDuel. $8,700 Beal on DraftKings. Yes, please. Russell Westbrook, 11-2 and 11K. Yes, please. Everyone else from this Wizards team other than Rui Hachimura for $5,200 on FanDuel. No, please. We done. That's it. Let's run some optimals. Let's figure out what this actually looks like for this wacky 11-game slate. Guys, thank you so much for being here. One last call for the 170-something of you. We're having a pretty good rise and grind session right now. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And then come hang out with Laffy and I while I rub it in his face that I won the bet yesterday. All right, optimal lineup on FanDuel for Wednesday's 11-game slate at 8 a.m. on the dot. We're at 90 minutes. Optimal lineup is Russell Westbrook, Luka Doncic, Bradley Beal, Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Bridges, Caleb Martin, Christian Wood, Nick Claxton, and Bismack Biyombo. That is 2 Charlotte Hornets at the flat minimum. Nick Claxton, $200 above the flat minimum. What a mess. Now, I will say, we also have the exact same lineup at same projection, 331.9. We take Russ out and we take Luka out. We replace them both with Kyle Lowry and Ben Simmons, which allows us to turn Bismack Biyombo into Jokic. I greatly prefer this lineup. M5, man, that's awesome. I'm glad you were able to use the No House Advantage stuff. It sounds like shilling when we talk about it, but from the projections and stuff on the site, it's really, really nice spot to be. Bleacher Mob, good to have you here, man. Good morning. I like both of those lineups quite a bit. Let's see what we've got going on for. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to do. Power rankings. Well, Theodore, the good news is it doesn't matter if Martin has that game because he's the flat minimum and probably going to start and play 30 minutes. Oh, boy. All right, let's get this Apple Watch back on as this optimal run crunches. Well, there it is, guys. You guys can see on the screen, if you're looking, who the #1 contender on today's slate's going to be. And that will be Caleb Martin. Devontae Graham, 2. Bradley Beal, Luka Doncic, Christian Wood, Ben Simmons, Kyle Lowry, John Wall, Nick Claxton, Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Bridges, Domantas Sabonis, Jalen McDaniels, Nikola Jokic. But Caleb Martin, pretty clearly, if the Hornets game plays out with no Rozier and no PJ Washington, $3,500 Caleb Martin is going to be the unquestioned top value option. Just kind of has to be. Sotex, nothing. Just no deal, you know? Wish them the best. It just didn't work out. Not much to it. All right, there we go. That is the FanDuel Optimal and FanDuel Power Rankings for today, which means we can slide on over to Draftkings and finish this one out. Boop, boop, boop. Optimal lineup on DraftKings. John Wall, Devontae Graham, Caleb Martin, Jalen McDaniels, Nick Claxton, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic, and Bismack Biyombo. That I would have never expected Steph to show up in that lineup at all. The rest of that all makes a ton of sense to me. Jalen McDaniels honestly might be a little bit overprojected, but at the same time, if he's going to be starting and playing a ton, like he's just going to fall into some stats, especially against Cleveland. That'll be crazy. I like the balance a little bit over here on the second one, but you are giving up 0.7 of a point, so there is that. Yeah, I didn't expect Steph to get into that lineup. I'm sure he'll shoot the lights on or something if I play him like that. All right, power rankings for DraftKings, and then we can get out of here. And then I have to hustle and flow to crank out these contenders videos. All right, DK power rankings. What do we got? And in the surprise of all surprises, he's going to be the dueling contender, top contender today, Caleb Martin. Gotta love it. Get the laptop open. Close that. Close that. No. Open. Yeah. Look at those DK power rankings. I mean, Caleb Martin's 3,100. Like, he's just very, very clearly going to be the top play of the day if Rozier and PJ Washington are both out. And if Rozier is out, I think that it's still Martin. I don't think that they'll be able to bump people down a little bit, but I think that it would just be Cody Martin taking the haircut, and Caleb Martin would probably just continue this role as the Rozier replacement. PJ Washington would just sort of affect the Biyombo pieces of this. So, DK, Caleb Martin, Jalen McDaniels, Bismack Biyombo, John Wall, Nick Claxton, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Devontae Graham, Westbrook, Christian Wood, Miles Bridges, Bradley Beal, Joel Embiid, Michael Porter Jr. And this is what you have on a day like today, where Caleb Martin's a huge value, Jalen McDaniels is a huge value, Bismack Biyombo is a huge value, Nick Claxton's a huge value. It kind of just makes every stud look the same. Like, you can play everybody that's a pay up option because you have that much value. There we go, though. That's what we got. Theodore, not only is Vooch not a top play against the Magic, I don't even think he's close. Yeah, he showed up in 4% of lineups. You guys can have your narrative. Woo! That's a big one, boys and girls, if you're here. 11 games up, 11 games down. That is a monstrous slate. So I'm happy that all of you guys could be here for it. We got an easy one tomorrow. Remember, if you guys have any questions that you would like me to dig into, not necessarily like who do you like at small forward type stuff tomorrow, we are going to have at least a little bit of extra time that I could take some questions and we can just, have a DFS chat. So thank you guys for being here. As always, you guys are the best. We build from the moment we wake up until now. The only thing that happens is the viewership goes up, and that makes me feel really good because we're starting at a time that's kind of crazy and nobody's trying to get out of here. So I'm really happy to have everybody. Thank you so much. Good luck tonight. Contenders videos will be out shortly. Strategy show with Laffy where you guys can watch me gloat about winning the bet. Live before lock tonight with Greg. It's going to be a big one. Lots of NBA stuff going on today. Keep your eyes on at Awesemo NBA for any news. Thank you to Monkey Knife Fight for being the presenting sponsor of this show. And that's all I got. Enjoy your hump day, everybody. I'm out of here.